I heard gunfire before I smelled the burning hair. That's how fast everything came apart. I'm Greg, by the way, 34, divorced. Used to fix busted dishwashers at that strip mall appliance shop off Highway 6. My left knee clicks when I squat. Mom texts too much. I keep my inhaler on a shoelace around my neck even when my ex says I look like an idiot. No superpowers, no will to survive posters on my wall. Before this, my biggest anxiety was finding the $20 for my cell bill before it cut out and I missed my kid's weekend call. The first thing I did wrong was believe the army trucks. They rolled in like they owned the block, green and loud, some high school kid waving a rifle at Mrs. Whitaker's yapping terrier. I thought, okay, real deal, right? Everyone did. It's hardwired. We see a uniform, we fall in line. I'd always thought the world would end with people tearing each other apart, not standing in polite rows waiting for orders. But that's what we did. Even me, standing in my Dr. One Dad slippers, hugging my phone and my inhaler, just wanting to hear if Caleb was safe with his mom across town. The smell was the second thing, not blood, not fire, ammonia, thick as cat piss. It drifted up the street ahead of the trucks, prickling my sinuses. One of the soldiers started retching. His friend, couldn't have been more than 19, shoved him forward, snapping, "Move, Private, it's just nerves." That's when I noticed the radios they all wore on their chests, hissing static, cutting in and out with this weird clicking underneath like teeth tapping a glass. None of them would meet our eyes for more than a second. I told myself it was stress, same as me. Then one of them started whistling, real soft, this jagged off-key tune that made my skin crawl. I still hear it when I try to sleep. We were herded toward the playground, single file, for safety. Some people left their front doors unlocked, grocery bags on the steps. Mrs. Whitaker tried to grab her dog. A soldier knocked her down hard. I just stared. My head felt packed with foam. I saw a boy drop his Game Boy in the grass, battery popping out. One of the soldiers stomped it flat without breaking stride. They made us kneel. The playground mulch was damp under my knees. I was clutching my phone so hard I left a crescent moon in the screen. The soldiers formed a ring, guns up, all of them sweating through their shirts. I was close enough to see the shaking in their fingers and the way their eyes kept darting up to the tree line, not at us. I wondered if I'd pass out, or if I'd have an asthma attack and just die there in the mulch, which honestly felt preferable to whatever the hell was happening. Then their radios clicked, all at once, not static, this mechanical chattering, almost like code, almost like language. The soldiers stopped moving. One by one, they started whistling that off-key tune, louder now, discordant, all out of sync. I fumbled for my inhaler, hands slick, and that's when I saw Private Nerves. His mouth was hanging open, saliva trailing down his chin, and his eyes were fixed on something behind us, something moving. Nobody said zombies, not yet, but we all saw the shapes at the end of the parking lot, bodies jerking, feet scraping against gravel, arms swinging too loosely, like their bones had melted. The soldiers turned their guns away from us and started firing, wild, panicked, burning through clips. The ammonia stench hit, overwhelming, and I doubled over coughing, barely dragging air. Something in the crowd started screaming, and the radios clicked again, long, fast, angry. The soldiers stopped shooting, turned, and started running. Away from us, straight into the woods. The siren cut out, and something answered back, whistling that same broken song from somewhere in the dark. Everyone froze. Even the kids. Kids never freeze, they shriek or bolt or melt down, but right then nobody moved a muscle. My lungs burned, throat raw from that chemical stink, but all I could hear was the whistle echoing off metal slides and the sick scraping shuffle of whatever was closing in. My phone buzzed, one desperate vibration, and I looked down, thinking maybe it was Caleb, but it was just a spam text. Debt relief now. I almost laughed, but my hands wouldn't unclench. The first zombie, if you want to call it that, came limping around the old jungle gym, jeans shredded, gray skin slick with something that looked like old soup, mouth twisting like it couldn't decide if it wanted to scream or swallow its own tongue. Its head cocked sideways, listening, not to us but to the playground speakers, where the broken siren sputtered, and I realized the thing was whistling back, that same off-key tune, softer and softer until I wanted to claw my ears out. Nobody helped Mrs. Whitaker off the ground. She crawled toward her dog, who was shaking so hard its tags jingled. The boy with the broken Game Boy tried to pull his mom into the mulch, as if that would make them invisible. I kept my eyes on the soldiers, or where they'd gone. One still lingered, frozen, gun loose at his side, chin quivering. Sweat poured off him, darkening the collar. I heard him mutter, "It's not supposed to answer." We were told. Then the static on his radio blared, and he jerked like he'd been electrocuted, knees buckling. People started to panic in twos and threes. A woman in scrubs, neighbor I only knew from wave hello routines, sprinted for the school's chain-link fence, climbing so fast her shoe came off. 2 others followed, trampling the flower beds. I tried to stand, knee seizing up. Inhaler pressed so hard against my chest I felt the plastic edges cutting into skin. The zombie's eyes locked on her. It made this clicking sound, tongue and teeth, loud enough to cut through the siren. It lurched after her, but its legs moved wrong. 1 step, then a sudden burst, like its tendons caught fire, covering 10 feet in a blink. It reached her at the top of the fence and grabbed her ankle. She screamed, God, the sound, and we all shrank back as the thing yanked hard. Her hand slipped, and she crashed down, half in, half out. The thing bent over her, mouth grinding against her arm, and that's when I saw it wasn't biting, it was inhaling. Deep, wheezing breaths, skin sucking against her like a leech. Her screams choked off. She twitched once, then stilled. The zombie stood, sucking in the ammonia air, veins crawling blue under its skin. I scrambled to my feet, dizzy, vision tunneling, knee screaming. The soldiers were gone. The people who tried to run weren't moving. The rest of us pressed together in the mulch, as if closeness could make us safe. I tried to dial Caleb, but my phone's cracked screen flickered. Battery at 2%, no bars, just a spinning wheel. I remembered the spam text. Debt relief now. Like any of that mattered anymore. My chest seized and I squeezed the inhaler, taking 3 desperate puffs, fighting for breath. No relief, just that taste of cold medicine and panic. A hand clamped my shoulder. I spun, Mrs. Whitaker wild-eyed, blood on her hands. "You saw it too?" she whispered, voice shredded. "The soldiers. Why did they run?" I couldn't answer. Over her shoulder I saw the other zombies, 2, maybe 3, shapes slithering along the school fence, moving in twitchy jerks, sniffing, whistling that awful tune. The survivors pressed tighter. Someone started praying. Another tried to climb a slide, sobbing, like higher ground would matter. The radio on the dropped soldier crackled again, words buried under the static. "Do not trust. Repeat, do not." The zombies turned in unison, heads cocked, staring at us. I heard the siren wind down to a dead hush, leaving only that breathless, rising whistle from every mouth in the dark. A man bolted first. A bank teller, I think, always wore pleated khakis. He sprinted toward the school doors, yelling for help, for a gun, for his wife. The zombies didn't chase at first, they just listened, every head tilting like a dog picking up a faraway sound. Then they moved, together, but not running, more like a stuttering glide, arms stiff, legs popping. Each step made a noise I'll never forget, joints crackling like celery snapping, and with every movement the air thickened with ammonia. The man made it to the door, yanked at the handle, found it locked. He started banging, sobbing, calling out names. One of the zombies, smaller, with long hair pasted to its jaw, broke from the group, and shuddered forward, hand out. It pressed its palm to the glass and started whistling, that off-key tune, and the glass fogged up instantly, as if its breath carried poison. No one could look away. Even Mrs. Whitaker, still gripping my arm, stared like her brain refused to work. I checked my phone. Battery gone, black screen. Just my reflection, wide-eyed and useless. My inhaler was nearly empty, a hollow rattle with each squeeze. My knee throbbed from crouching. All I could think was Caleb, over and over. Caleb, my boy, my kid. The man at the door pounded harder. The zombie kept whistling. Then it exhaled, and the glass where its mouth touched melted, dripping down like ice. The man jerked back, slipped on his own shoe, and fell. The zombie reached through, grabbed his wrist, and he started convulsing before it even pulled him out. Like the touch alone sent something boiling through his veins. He went limp fast. The other zombies shuffled over, crowding in, inhaling over him. That chorus of wheezing so loud it made my ears ring. The smell nearly knocked me out. I forced myself to breathe through my sleeve, felt Mrs. Whitaker shivering beside me. People started whispering, asking what the soldiers knew, why they ran, what the radios meant. A guy in a delivery uniform spat on the ground, said he'd rather take his chances in the woods. He broke away, limping from a twisted ankle. Others looked ready to follow, but no one moved. We were animals, penned in, not sure what the zookeeper wanted. A noise snapped everyone's attention back. The radio from the dropped soldier again, but clearer this time. "They're listening. Don't speak. Don't let them inhale you." I looked at Mrs. Whitaker. Her dog was still shaking, jaw quivering, eyes rolling. I thought about letting it go, letting it bolt and draw them away. Instead, I reached out, tried to pet its matted fur, but it yelped and snapped at my hand, nearly catching my finger. A few people started crying quietly. A kid whispered, "I want to go home." From across the playground, a group of zombies turned in perfect sync, faces twitching. They began whistling louder, arms out, moving toward us, drawn not by noise but by breath, our fear, our sweat, every ragged inhale. We all held our breath at once, as if we'd rehearsed. The zombies stopped, swaying, listening. I squeezed my inhaler, one last time, but it sputtered empty. My chest tightened, panic prickling up my spine. Somewhere in the mulch, a phone rang, a real ringtone, old school, tinny and bright. The zombies twitched, heads jerking to the sound, and lunged in unison, closing the distance in one awful snapping rush. I dove for the ground as the zombies poured in. Mrs. Whitaker tried to shield her dog but got bowled over, bodies scrambling everywhere, everyone kicking, clawing, gasping for air they knew would betray them. I caught a glimpse of that dropped radio, still hissing, the last message repeating in static. "Don't let them," before a boot shattered it. The ammonia stench was suffocating. My chest screamed for air, but I kept my lips pressed shut, lungs on fire, until my vision shrank to a pinpoint and I thought, "This is it. I'm going out in a pile of mulch and sweat with strangers I barely knew." My knee gave out and I rolled sideways, colliding with the boy who'd dropped his Game Boy. He was clutching the plastic shells so hard his knuckles bled. I found Mrs. Whitaker, shaking, eyes wild, dog pressed to her chest. She mouthed something. I think she said, "Run." But the zombies were everywhere, crawling, searching, sniffing, breathing us in. I dragged myself along the ground, trying to move without making a sound, blood roaring in my ears. Someone broke free near the fence and made a break for the woods, but two of them peeled off and followed, whistling louder, the sound climbing into a feverish pitch that made the world tilt. There was only one thing left. I tore the shoelace from my neck, pressed my empty inhaler between my teeth, and prayed my kid wouldn't remember me as the guy who just gave up. With everything blurring around me, I managed to roll beneath a bench, pulling mulch and dirt over myself, covering my face, holding what little breath I had left. Above me, I heard footsteps, felt the reek of ammonia thicken. Fingers scraped the metal bench. Then, just as suddenly, they moved on. Maybe they missed me. Maybe it was luck. Maybe they were hunting fresher air. I waited, counting the thud of my own heart until the playground fell silent except for the crackle of burning plastic and the faint, never-ending whistle drifting from the woods. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. I thought about Caleb and the way he laughed on the swings last summer. I thought about the things we ignore when we trust the wrong people in a crisis. When the sun finally started to rise, I was still there, staring at the playground sky, wishing I'd been braver, smarter, less trusting. But alive, for now. If you made it through, you know what to do. Hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and share this story before they cut the signal. Stay sharp. Don't trust the soldiers. Don't breathe. I'll see you, if I make it, on the next one.